Hello students, this is Amit Tiwari, your English teacher. Students, today I am going to start a very important topic from your writing section, that is short stories. Short stories is a work of fiction or imagination that is usually written in easily understandable grammatical structures with a very natural flow of speech. Every short story has a beginning, middle, and an end, and it is divided into paragraphs. The first paragraph is introductory, while the last one contains the conclusion, and the paragraph in the middle serves to develop the story. Now, let us discuss story writing in detail. So, students, as I have told you, that short stories are the work of fiction or imagination. Means you should have a very clear imagination, or you should have an idea, and uh, it is usually written in understandable grammatical structure so that the reader can easily understand, and there should be a natural flow of speech throughout the story. Means whatever you are writing in the short story, each and everything should be connected to each other. Short story is meant to be read at a single setting, and therefore it should be as direct and brief as possible. Short stories should be brief and direct, and it should be written in just a single setting. You should not unnecessarily stretch the different events or the characters, because we are writing the short story, and therefore it should be written in a single setting. Now we will discuss the main elements of short story. The first one is character, second is setting, then plot, after that there will be conflict, and the last one is theme. And we will discuss each elements in detail now. The first and the most important element of a short story is its characters. The story has people, animal, or any other creature as its character, or you can use your own imagination to create the characters and to add a touch of reality. It is necessary to base them on real life, and it is also important to think of special qualities or behavior patterns and build the characters just to create reactions of admiration, fear, hatred, etc. in the reader's mind. And you should develop meaningful dialogues for the characters, and the dialogue should have expressions so that the reader can get easily connected with the characters and the events that are happening in the story. And the last one is characterization. Characterization means the explanation of the different characters that you are using in your short stories, and you can describe the character by using special adjectives, by giving them special qualities and behavior patterns. You can also use narratives, and it can be in the form of first, second, or third person. And whatever the person you are using as a narrative, you should maintain throughout the story. And fewer is better is the golden rule of writing the stories. Means you should not use so many characters, because it will make the story complicated, and you will have to unnecessarily stretch the story. And as you are writing short story, so you should use fewer characters. The second important element of a short story is its setting. So setting is the background of the story, and it can happen in a forest or a classroom, or it can be anything, as you are free to use your own imaginations and ideas just to create the setting of a particular story. The setting is the time frame and the place of a story. The setting should be brief, but should be poetic and vivid. Vivid means descriptive, and you should have a clear cut description of the different scenes that you are using as a setting of your story. And there should be only one setting in the story, as you are writing a very short story. So using more than two or three settings will complicate the story writing, and you won't be able to justify with your story, and perhaps the readers won't be able to get connected with the story. You should use locations, context, and atmosphere as setting of your story. The next one, and the very important element of the short story, is its plot. And students, most stories have a sequence and purpose, or the reason why the story is being written. Some stories have a moral or a message, another have an unusual or usual ending or a sequence of elements. Some stories are adventurous, some are funny, and some are scary. So we see a starting point that moves through different course of an ending point. So students, plot should be simple and interesting so that the readers can get easily connected with the story. And plot is the flesh and muscle of the story, without which you cannot develop a very good and interesting and appealing story. Short, it starts with body and end linked sequentially by events and characters. Action means whatever the characters that you are using and whatever the events that you are putting in your short stories should be connected, and there should be a sequence, means they are sequentially linked to each other. Creatively describe and logically connect the events and action, and you should creatively describe whatever the characters or the events you are using, and you should logically connect the events and the action with the plot of the story. The next important element of the story writing is conflict. Students, you should use conflict in your stories so that readers can get their attention connected with the story, and it is a golden rule for the story to have an intense but one conflict. Means the story should not have more than one conflict, because as you are writing a short story, so you won't be having enough room to include more than one conflict or more than one twist in your story. And once you have created the conflict, it can be between the characters, or it can be between the two events, or it can be altogether a new twist in the story. So you should have a proper solution for that conflict. Now the next element, that is theme. Theme is the framework of your short story, and it includes plot, settings, conflicts, and characters. And it should be relating to the majority of readers, and it is the central idea or the main belief of the story. And the last one is ending. Ending should have a proper solution to whatever the conflict or the twist that you have given, that you have created in the story. And it can be open type, means you will leave the solution on the views of readers, means they can judge or they can justify the ending of the story. and you can give a clear cut outcome or the solution or a single solution for your for the conflict that you have created in the story. Some important points one should remember while writing a short story: the story needs to be told in an interesting manner, the story needs to have a message, and the beginning of the story needs to be exciting and should capture attention of the reader, and the end of the story needs to be worth remembering. An interesting and suitable title should be given to the story. So students, this is all about short story writing, and I'm giving you some sample stories for your clear cut understanding. Have a good day, students.